2025 has been a busy year in Boomtown as new people move to Central Ohio every day. Cities and suburbs are racing to close the affordable housing gap. Coming up, the big changes this year and why they matter if you're looking for a place to live. Plus, looking no further than Central Ohio if you need a job. Thousands announced this year in Boomtown as new industries choose to call our region home. And it's not all work and no play in Boomtown. The sports economy is driving Central Ohio's growth. And there's more to come with massive renovations planned for Nationwide Arena as it celebrates a major milestone with our Columbus Blue Jackets. Central Ohio certainly is booming. We all see it and we all can feel it. So here's what we uncovered this year in Boomtown. Thanks so much for joining us for this special edition of Boomtown. I'm Angela Ann. This week, we are taking a look back on the past year, one marked by rapid growth wherever you look. We start with the growing pain impacting everyone, the housing shortage. This year, Columbus voters said yes to a historic bond package, the largest in the city's history. More than a quarter of the $1.9 billion will go directly to housing. 10 TV's Colin Dorsey sat down with Columbus Mayor Andrew Ginther the day after the election.
Some of the largest donors to that PAC were developers and real estate handlers in this city who have a lot of hands in the city's affordable housing market, whether that be Woda Cooper Companies, the Wagenbrenner Brothers, and the Columbus Board of Realtors. When it comes to how the city chooses to spend that money and with whom, how do we ensure that money is being spent fairly?
We're going to involve folks from all walks of life to make sure that this money is spent wisely and that we provide the oversight and transparency to make sure that voters can support these issues in the future as well with confidence.
Bonds approved by Columbus voters in 2019 and 2022 have already been put to work, building 4,000 affordable housing units around the city. Some are already finished, while others are just getting underway. This latest bond package gives $500 million for new affordable housing.
You're going to see a lot of action very quickly, particularly as capacity becomes available.
The rest of the $1.9 billion is going to build up the city's infrastructure, provide equipment for police and fire, and give people new and better places to play.
Is this really looking to future-proof the city? Is this enough to look 10, 15, 20 years down the road?
It is a great start, but as you know, we do these bond packages about every 3 or 4 years. So the people of Columbus, as you indicated, supported these both in 2019 and 2022.
Thank you, Colin. Now, Columbus City Council introduced the second phase of its zoning code reform this year, hoping the changes will make it easier to build in the future. Phase 1 passed in 2024 and was the first update to the city's zoning rules in more than 70 years. So take a look at this map. The areas highlighted in blue shows you the neighborhoods where Phase 2 will soon focus on, such as the south side of Columbus, also near the airport and the University District by the Ohio State campus. Phase 2 was originally scheduled for a vote in early December, but that has now been pushed back until 2026. Columbus did see some major housing wins this year, including the opening of Starling Yard. It's a long vacant middle school in Columbus transformed into affordable apartments. As 10 TV's Tara Jabor shows us, it's just one way many boomtowns are turning old spaces into something new.
Almost 100 affordable housing units are now available in Franklinton. Jeffrey Radcliffe is one of the residents.
Oh, it's been beautiful. Apartments are very nice. They're roomy.
Radcliffe says for years he struggled to pay for his apartment, but now he found somewhere safe and affordable.
At least give people a chance to live and not just have to spend maybe just your whole money that you make that month just to have a place to stay.
The rent will range from $400 to nearly $1,300 a month, and that rent will depend on your income. Columbus Mayor Andrew Ginther says this project is about creating a space that everyone can afford.
They're not going to just be part of our past. They're part of our present and future. They'll be able to age in place in the neighborhoods of their choice.
Lydia Mahalik, the director of the Ohio Department of Development, says this project is restoring a building, but it's also restoring people's purpose by giving people an affordable place to live.
And because when people have a place that is safe and stable to live, they have a place to grow. Housing plays such an important role in the long-term health of our communities.
The development is one of many in Franklinton. Trent Smith has lived in the neighborhood for about 15 years. He says there's a need for affordable housing, but also single-family homes.
We want to be able to reuse as many things as possible. We don't necessarily want everything to be torn down, you know, a clean slate, and then expensive new shiny things go up.
He says right now Franklinton needs a grocery store to give people who don't have a car access to food. Smith says the future of the neighborhood is positive.
I see a bright future for us because once we have more housing, we'll have a grocery store. And once we have a grocery store, that brings even more housing. And then that brings all the retail up and down Broad Street that's been missing for so many decades.
Well, Columbus wasn't the only city planning for new growth in the past year. Leaders in suburbs were busy as well, planning new housing projects and neighborhood expansions. So Hilliard City Council approved the Hill Farm subdivision, which will add 300 single-family homes to the west side. In Lancaster, an effort to turn a century-old building that once served as a shoe factory into 60 apartments and commercial space. Meanwhile, new condos, restaurants, and even a hotel are being planned as Dublin looks to expand Bridge Park. And in Sunbury, 115 acres of farmland transforming now into a mixed-use development with hotels, retail, and restaurants. The city of Gahanna also looking into a major transformation of Creekside. Officials announcing this year that they will move forward with plans to revitalize and restore that downtown area as a gathering place. 10 TV's Libby Cathy walks us through those plans.
Sherry Lehman shares special memories at Creekside Plaza in downtown Gahanna.
I brought my kids here for family photos and get ice cream, and we would walk around.
Years later, she sees some room for improvement.
Just sad to see that the restaurants aren't open anymore and not as many people coming out here.
Leaders in Gahanna say they hear those concerns.
And what can we do to make Creekside more vibrant and more vital? It is the heart of our city. It sits right in the center core, and it needs to be a strong downtown. Every vibrant city has that strong downtown area where it's an area where communities gather and people come together.
Mayor Laurie Jadwin breaking down to 10 TV how there are really two proposed projects intended to revitalize downtown.
They are separate and distinct projects. There is one project that the city is proposing that has to do with flood mitigation work around the Creekside Plaza, which the city owns. That is the public project that we talk about. Then there is separately a private investment, which would be the mixed-use development.
That mixed-use development would entail
much-needed housing, as well as restaurant space, retail space, office, co-working space, a boutique hotel, and a parking garage.
She says both projects
have the opportunity to really inject that energy and vitality into the district that has been lacking.
And as for who pays for it,
the private development comes from the private developer. That is their wallet that they want to open and choosing to invest in the community. So that is purely on them. The public project would be city funded, and there's no new taxes for that. We would be pulling from other resources that we already have available.
First, both projects must be approved by City Council.
So this is just really the initial phase of what would be a long process.
Probably several years ahead before.
It's at least, I would say it's at least a year, yes.
For Carly Stowell, who moved to Gahanna about a year ago with her young family, a downtown refresh would be nice, but
no matter what, if it stays the same or if it changes, we'll be here to hang out.
Well, this January will mark 4 years since Intel announced it was coming to Ohio. This year, another delay for the microchip manufacturer. Intel announced that it would slow construction at its Licking County site near New Albany. And instead of opening this year as originally scheduled, the timeline has been pushed back several times. So we're now looking at the year 2030 at the earliest. But there was a bit of a silver lining for Intel amid the doubts that it would ever come to fruition. In September, NVIDIA announced it will invest $5 billion into Intel, teaming up to work on custom data centers and personal computer products. Intel plans to make custom chips that NVIDIA will use in its AI infrastructure platforms. Governor Mike DeWine saying that he's pretty certain Intel will make good on its promise to the Buckeye State.
Look, I mean, all I know is that, Intel is building a facility in Ohio. They've already put about $8 billion into the ground. They're not moving. Chips are going to get made there. When they're going to get made, I can't tell you, and what kind of chips, but chips are going to get made there. So, all the back and forth in regard to where Intel is, that's not something that I frankly can control, but I have every confidence that chips are going to be made right here in Central Ohio.
Well, Intel's not the only major company announcing a delay this year. Microsoft came out with a surprise announcement that it will now push back its $1 billion investment, also in Licking County. That plan was to build 3 data centers, but Microsoft pulled back, saying it was evaluating its Ohio investments to make sure they're in line with strategy. A Microsoft spokesperson said the land in Hebron and Heath will be used for farming while the company begins site preparations in New Albany. Now, all is not lost for those areas. Microsoft promised leaders that it will follow through on development agreements to upgrade roadways and utilities. Another major announcement this year showed the world that Ohio is more than just a place for data centers and microchips. Construction already underway now for Anderill's Arsenal One site, a defense manufacturing facility that officials say will bring 4,000 jobs to this region, making it the largest single job creation project in Ohio history. I sat down with an Anduril executive to talk about the future of this site.
One Tango West container in the open.
Weather's coming in heavy. What's the plan?
You are seeing the future of America's defense. And part of that future will be built here in Pickaway County. What was once farmland is now home to one of the most advanced defense manufacturing projects in the country. So when you look at this space, what do you envision?
Well, envision eventually tens of thousands of unmanned systems being produced by Ohio workers coming out of our facilities, going to U.S. and allied militaries.
Zach Mears is Anderill's Senior VP of Strategy. We sat between what will soon become Arsenal One's Building Number 1 and the start of Buildings 2 and 3. The plan is to hyperscale the production of autonomous weapons and systems like Ghost, Barracuda, autonomous surveillance systems like Sentry Towers, and other AI-powered products from electronic warfare systems to fighter jets. With 4,000 promised jobs, Anduril is Ohio's largest job creation project in history. Being here in Pickaway County strategically, then you could be pulling not just from Franklin or say Fairfield, but really to counties to our east and southeast.
Yes, we expect to push as far down near Cincinnati, around Hamilton and Mason. We already have interest from employees up in Cleveland and around Akron. And for many of them, they want to stay and live where they are. They believe that their community is their fabric, but they want to have a job that excites them, and they're willing to travel upwards of an hour, hour and a half to do so.
Mears says Anduril is moving fast, but he understands the hesitation from locals about what's to come. Challenges like new roads and housing.
Now, it'd be foolish to say it's not a concern. It's been an issue, not just here locally, but across the state for some time. We've been engaged with Jobs Ohio, with the Columbus Partnership, with the local townships about housing plans and housing development. Communities are very clear in sharing with us their plans so that we know and can help point our employees to places where they might find good affordable housing around the campus.
Anduril says it is already investing in Ohio's workforce pipeline, teaming up with high schools, technical centers, and universities to prepare the next generation.
Well, if you're not reaching kids from 6th grade to 8th grade, transitioning to high school, especially for those kids that are interested in a technically oriented trade, you lose that interest and that ability to then pursue that certification that is ultimately going to pull them into this campus behind us.
A lot of growth indeed in Pickaway County. Now, biotech continues to bring some big business here to Central Ohio. This year, Amgen announced a $900 million expansion to its New Albany facility. So that means 350 new jobs to the market. The company celebrated a major milestone this year. Crews from Turner Construction lifted the final beam of steel on the building expansion. Amgen telling 10 TV that it's more than just construction. It's a celebration of their continued growth in Central Ohio.
We have been able to bring this building up in according to plan, and putting that last beam with all the signature of all our employees. It's really very grateful, and we are very happy.
Well, now Central Ohio is focused on making sure there are workers to fill all those jobs. Thousands of high school students are turning to career centers for some hands-on training. As 10 TV reporter Catherine Simon explains, a local high school expansion will bring that training right onto campus.
Johnstown Monroe is celebrating an addition to the high school. They've made a 6-classroom expansion to accommodate a growing student body. It also allows them to offer more specialized courses.
Yeah. This school year, Johnstown High School's expansion is fully in use. The extra space allows the high school to accommodate about 150 more students. A big reason for the addition is the expected population growth in the district as a result of the nearby Intel plant.
We are really subject to growth, and we know there's going to be growth. So part of this expansion was to accommodate that student growth. The other part of it is program enhancement.
One of the 6 new classrooms is a health lab. With the addition, the school launched a new health sciences pathway. It's a way for students to get career training right at their high school.
I want to be a PA, so I need about 2,000 patient care hours. So by the end of this year, I will be CNS certified so that I can work in a hospital or a nursing home and start early on those.
The health sciences pathway is the 3rd workforce development program at the school. Last year, it launched electrical trades and multi-skilled technician programs. They're all in partnership with CTEC of Licking County, but allow students to get the training at their main school without having to drive to Newark.
All my friends are here. School sports, anything you want. It's nice coming here to home campus.
It's really based on what the student needs are and what the industry needs are, because that's ultimately our job, is to get students ready.
The superintendent says the addition was constructed in a way that would allow the school to eventually add on even more if necessary. Reporting in Johnstown, Catherine Simon, 10 TV News.
With all the development announced this year, there is certainly a growing demand for water. In Columbus, a new $1.6 billion water plant is now under construction. Here's Kevin Landers with a first-hand look at the plan and what it could mean for your water bill.
This region is supposed to grow by up to 700,000 people by 2050, so we're trying to take a very proactive response to this and make sure that we have the water as folks move into our region.
This $1.6 billion home road water plant is the answer.
Initially, this plant will start up at 48 million gallons per day. We have the capacity to go up to 80 million gallons per day.
Millions of gallons of water that will be pumped into homes and businesses from the sun, thanks to an array of floating solar panels.
Actually, the entire plant can be run by that solar facility.
This map on the left shows how the city's 3 water plants feed Columbus customers today. On the right shows how the home road plant will deliver water in the future by taking over most of the northwestern part of the region.
The whole region's growing as a whole, so this plant really does help with that overall regional growth.
With growth comes growing pains. The city admits water rates will need to increase to support the project.
What do you anticipate how high the rates could go up?
I'm not sure right now. We're in the process of evaluating that. Those rates will be coming out later this year.
The water from this plant will be pumped through massive water pipes that will stretch more than 15 miles. This map shows the path that will need to be dug through Delaware County into Dublin and connecting to Columbus lines. The city says water levels in the Scioto River won't be impacted, but there could be some disruption for those who have water wells near the project.
But during construction, we will have to dewater some of the area, so we may impact some of the neighborhood wells.
Built on the former Scioto Juvenile Correction Facility, the city bought the land from the state in 2015 in anticipation of projected growth. The city says the plant is expected to open in 2030. Kevin Landers, 10 TV News.
Well, Delaware County is also looking to expand water distribution to meet the needs of a growing community. Officials say current sources can sustain water demand for about a decade, but beyond that, it's uncertain. Delco Water has been exploring potential new aquifers since before Intel was announced, but the company says that project has now accelerated their plans. Well, keeping the power on and the water running is critical for data centers as they continue to pop up all across Central Ohio. Right now, more than 100 data centers are already operating here, with even more planned. Here's Kevin once again with whether or not this region can keep up with the growing demand.
Licking County is Central Ohio's hub for data center construction. Inside these massive buildings house the technology that power our digital world, from AI technology to Bitcoin transactions. There are at least 120 data centers in the Columbus area. These massive warehouses require millions of gallons of water to cool them. Joe Davis is a data center specialist for JLL.
We've seen trends towards much lower water usage. There's been a few projects up in the New Albany submarket that use as much water as like an office building would.
But there remain concerns. Researchers at the University of California, Riverside estimate that each 100-word AI prompt consumes approximately 519 milliliters of water, which is roughly 1 bottle of water. And while there are reports of data centers exasperating water supplies in other parts of the country, the Ohio Department of Natural Resources believes Central Ohio's aquifers can handle the growth here. Quote, in Central Ohio, there are areas endowed with substantial groundwater resources that could support additional growth, be it from data centers or any other high-capacity groundwater user. The use of groundwater in Central Ohio is a constitutionally protected property right. ODNR has the authority to investigate conflicts between groundwater users.
I'm not concerned about like dips in the water supply on folks' homes.
Data centers rely on air cooling, which is water-intensive, or liquid cooling systems, which are more efficient. Closed-loop cooling can cut freshwater use by up to 70% by reusing water. Davis says data center operators are also looking at conserving energy use as well.
Normally, data centers get power from the grid, and now we're seeing these behind-the-meter where the company actually owns and generates their own power.
He says that takes pressure off the electrical grid.
That's an emerging trend. We think we're going to continue to see it, partially because of the grid constraints that are just happening across the market.
And it's a concern. U.S. data centers used about 4.4% of the nation's electricity in 2023, and their share is expected to double or come close to tripling by 2028. As for the demands on water, ODNR tells 10TV it will be monitoring water use closely and ensure withdrawals do not unreasonably affect other users. Kevin Landers, 10TV News.
TV was the first to tell you about some big changes coming to Nationwide Arena. A $400 million renovation being planned, which turned 25 years old this year. Now, the reason behind all that money, well, to help keep Central Ohio's sports scene competitive as we continue to grow. I got a first-hand look at what's planned. Things at Nationwide Arena are about to go boom.
2-ish years ago, we started talking about and looking at our capital plan and said, somewhere between year 25 and 30 is going to be a window where we need to reinvest and do a major renovation.
That window is now, and the fix is far beyond curb appeal. We're talking retractable seats to open up floor space, a new scoreboard, faster concessions to get butts back into seats quicker, and a massive digital signage upgrade arena-wide.
And that amount is around $400 million. Could be a little more, could be a little less.
Dave Rettelberger and Mike Gatto are part of the Nationwide Arena team spearheading its future. Who's going to pay for that?
Well, it's a combination of the city, the county, the state, and also the private sector.
Taxpayers at some point?
Well, taxpayers is a piece of it.
Without the arena, we wouldn't be right here today.
Former Columbus Mayor Michael Coleman
2, 3
was president of City Council when Nationwide Arena came to life in May of 1998.
It was a barren wasteland of nothingness. In fact, right here, at this very spot, was a prison. 25 years has gone by, and like a house, you have to renovate, you have to bring it back. And if you don't, it's going to fall in disarray.
Which is why these upgrades are more than just talk.
That we'd like to do is potentially turn this into so we could open it up and it could be a bar where you could see in the bowl for the hockey games or sporting events.
These guys know time is of the essence, and the competition, they say, is getting tighter in the arena space, given other cities in the same boat already taking away bids.
Phoenix was just coming off a $250 million renovation. Phoenix got that Final Four because it was a new building.
Do you think it'll be a tough ask to get that $400 million?
I don't think it's going to be easy, but I think the arena, as I said before, there wouldn't be an arena district without Nationwide Arena.
It is money past leaders say is worth every penny to bring bigger and better opportunities to Columbus.
I'd love for me, this is Mike Coleman talking only, I'd love to have an NBA team in our city.
Who knows? Well, we do know that a lion's share of this $400 million could come from the state, public bonds, private contributions, and another $25 million from city and Franklin County governments. But the public authority that runs Nationwide Arena knows it still has a heavy lift ahead. Are you getting commitments, handshakes, or actually, checks in the mail?
All of this is a process. We're bringing the city, the county, the state, and private investors to the table. No one wants to go first, but credit to City Council for getting us started. I do think that as the city and county investments materialize, as we're able to draw down those state dollars, that the private investment will be there to fund the balance of the project.
So basically, they have the players lined up, so to speak. It's just a matter of who wants to hit that puck first. Which leads us to this. The Columbus Blue Jackets this year celebrated 25 years in the NHL. 10TV was there and joined in on the celebration. Plans for the Blue Jackets actually started earlier in 1996 with 5 investors and a dream. That dream became a reality when the Blue Jackets formed in 2000. And ever since then, the CBJ has been a staple in Central Ohio, bringing a dedicated fan base out to Nationwide Arena that grew up right alongside with the team. If you have any questions related to Central Ohio's rapid growth, we want to hear from you. Please text us 614-460-3345. And if you're watching us on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. You can always drop your question right there in the comment section as well. We do want to thank you for watching This Week in Boomtown as we look back at the year that was 2025. I'm Angela Ann. We'll see you again in 2026.